Namaste friends, welcome back to YogaCandi. My name's Candice and today we have Yin Yoga for hip flexibility. So all you're going to need is a couple of yoga blocks or a couple of thick cushions. This is going to be, I would say, a little bit more of a strong beginner type of class because some of the hip openers are quite intense, but just feel free to do the beginner variations that I give you and do your best. Don't force your body if you feel any pain, especially like a sharp pain. That's your body's way of telling you this isn't good for you and you need to ease out. So really listen to the body. That's what Yin Yoga really is all about. Yoga is all about that in general. Keep your breath nice and long throughout the class and we can begin. So let's start off in butterfly, just warming up through the hips before we begin. So take the soles of the feet together, the knees fall apart. This is where your props may already come in handy. You may want to put a couple of cushions or yoga blocks under your knees if they're really elevated. You can always just sit up nice and tall with your spine against a wall. Or if you have the mobility, you can start to flap the wings of your butterfly. You can flap them fast, you can flap them slow. Just find something that works for your body. Sit up nice and tall through the spine and just close your eyes and really tune in and find out how are your hips feeling this morning or this afternoon. Is either of them feeling tighter than the other? That's okay, that's totally normal. But bear that in mind, and when you do the poses on each side, you want to make sure that you give both the hips as much love as the other. And if you need to go deeper on one side than the other, or if you're able to go deeper on one side than the other, that's okay. The body is not totally symmetrical. Just make sure you listen to yourself. Start to engage a nice deep inhale and exhale, in and out of the nose. And continue this breath throughout today's class. Another thing to concentrate on is every time you exhale, try to concentrate on drawing that belly button towards the spine. At the same time you're lifting up through the pelvic floor. The best way to describe that sensation is imagine that you're taking a tinkle and you need to hold it in mid-flow. That's the best way to describe it. So there's a little contraction in the pelvic area, but you're also lifting up. So let's begin our deep inhales and exhales. From here, become still. You can start to lean forward in your butterfly. You can always grab a block, place it on the ground, take your forearms down to the ground if it's accessible, and bring your forehead to that block. From here, listen to the breath, listen to the body. On the exhales, draw up through the spine and through the pelvic floor. Together, let's enjoy some really deep inhales and exhales here, allowing all thoughts to pass. Take another 5 deep inhales and exhales. Continuously listening to these sensations. and listening to the breath. Take one more deep breath. And then slowly lift yourself up, remove your prop, just pop it aside. And we're going to open up through the legs, taking a nice wide straddle, only as wide as you can get it. Don't worry, you don't have to go too wide. You can take your spine against a wall once again and just place your hands behind your back. Make sure you're keeping your shoulder blades away from the ears. Try to keep the legs straight, but of course if you need to bend them, then that's what you've got to do. If you can lean forward, then start to lean forward. And again, we just want to warm up just for a moment. So find a little bit of movement. Close your eyes and maybe you can find a bit of movement, leaning forward, rocking from side to side. If movement's not accessible and you just need to sit up tall, then feel free to do that. Listen to your body. If you're able to have your legs really straight, then lift up through the kneecaps, lifting them up towards the spine. Toes are engaged, they're pointing up towards the sky. Just enjoy this rocking movement. Couple more times, waking up those hamstrings and the inner thighs and through the groin. Now you can always stay seated up tall. You can just place the hands in front of you or behind you. Or maybe you can come down to your forearms, placing your forehead back onto your prop once again. Just resting. So wherever you are, make sure there's no pain. Keeping the spine as long as possible. Let's enjoy our deep breaths together. On every exhale, lift the belly button towards the spine and draw up through the pelvic floor. Make each breath conscious. Pay attention to it. Enjoy, my friends. And from here, count 5 deep inhales and 5 deep exhales. From here, you're welcome to go a little deeper if you want to into the pose. Otherwise, stay where you are and we're going to enjoy 5 more deep breaths. Take your last exhale and slowly make your way up, removing your prop. Let's gently draw one leg in towards the body and then the other. Just give the little squeeze towards your chest. Now let's make our way onto all fours, and we're going to come in for our pigeon pose. So make your way into plank, and we're going to bring our right leg down to the ground, so the knee is behind the wrist, the ankle is behind the left wrist. You're going to start to send this left leg back behind you, coming down into our pigeon. Now this is again where a prop may come in handy. You may want something underneath this right hip, propping you up, just making it more accessible. The main thing you want to make sure is that your hips are facing forwards and that your hips are in line. The front foot doesn't need to be at a 90-degree angle to the front of the mat. The closer the heel is towards the crutch, the easier this pose is going to be for you. So from here, you can stay up on your hands if that's just more comfortable. Feeling out, giving into gravity, allowing your hips to sink lower and lower. Allowing the hips to open up, as well as the psoas on the left side. So you may feel a stretch down the left side of the leg as well. If you can come down to your forearms. You can grab a block or your cushion and place your forehead onto that prop once again. You can even go all the way into sleeping pigeon, extending the arms and bringing the whole body down to the ground. But wherever you are, make sure your spine is long, your hips are squared. And together, let's enjoy 10 deep breaths on this side. Once again, really conscious breaths, lifting the pelvic bowl up and drawing the belly button towards the spine on every exhale. On your inhales, you release. Take one more deep inhale. And make your way back up onto your palms. Just remove your prop. From here, move on to your right hip. And then very slowly release this left leg and bring it out in front of you, taking the right foot to the inside of this left thigh. Sit up tall. You can stay here seated tall, trying to keep this left leg nice and long. Or you can slightly twist the body towards the left and then come on down to the ground, maybe resting onto a block. You can grab a block, place it for your head on the inside of this left thigh. Just keep the toes engaged, pointing towards the sky. Lift up through the knee. And in this lovely hamstring stretch, as well as a hip opener here on the right side. Let's enjoy 5 deep breaths to begin. Take one more deep breath. And then if possible, you can always go a little deeper for another 5 breaths. Maybe even removing your prop and just falling up and over that leg. Wherever you are, enjoy another 5 breaths. And release. Swing that leg back behind you, back into pigeon, and then make your way back into plank. Send it back into down dog just to stretch the legs a moment. Give your dog a little walk, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So come on forward to your plank, and then bring this left knee behind the left hand, the foot behind the right. Make your way down nice and slowly to your pigeon. Take your time, there's no hurry at all with yin yoga. It's all about finding some comfort and ease within each pose. Remember, if you are finding this a struggle, then prop that left hip up onto a cushion or a block, and you can always just stay lifted on your palms. Shoulders drawn back and down away from the ears. Keeping the hips squared. And this front leg, no need to be parallel with the front of the mat. The closer the heel is towards the pelvis, the much easier this hip opener is going to be. Once you've found some comfort and ease, you can find your way down onto your palms if possible, taking a block, placing it for the head. Or come all the way down to sleeping pigeon, extending the arms and bringing the forehead to the ground. Once you find that lovely deep stretch, as long as there's no pain, you're in a good place. Then it's time to enjoy 10 deep breaths together. Relaxing into the pose and giving into gravity. Take one more deep breath. And then very gently make your way back up. Remove your prop. Take a moment and then lean over onto this left hip, releasing the right leg. And then very gently and slowly swinging that right leg forward. Taking this left foot to the inner right thigh. Make yourself comfortable. You can always sit up tall through the spine, hands behind the back, or grab a prop. Place it on the inside of this right thigh. Very slightly tilt the body towards the right and start to walk forward until you feel like that's a good place to be. And then perhaps rest your forehead down onto your prop. Try to keep that leg nice and straight here on the right side. Lift up through the kneecap, toes facing towards the sky. Let's start off with our 5 deep breaths before we go lower if possible. Remembering to lift up through the pelvic floor and through the belly button on every exhale. Every inhale you release. Take one more deep breath, and you're welcome to stay here or go a little lower, maybe even removing your prop and just folding over this right leg. Taking another 5 deep breaths. And gently, gently make your way up. Start to swing that right leg back behind you, back into almost a pigeon. Plant your hands, make your way into a plank and step back to downward facing dog just to stretch out the legs. Now slowly bring your knees down together. From here we're going to make our way into a reclined hero pose, just to counteract all of these hip openers and to do something a little different, also a slight back bend. So from here you're going to open your feet out wide as the mat, but at least wider than your hips. And you're going to sit down between those feet. If this is not accessible, grab a couple of thick cushions and prop your hips up, or even just take more of a kneeling position, or even butterfly legs if that's going to be more accessible. You can also just extend the legs out long in front of you, that's fine as well. So from here we're going to place some blocks. So if you have blocks, that's perfect. If not, then a couple of thick cushions will do the trick. So one block's going to be like a T shape. One block's going to be for your head. The other block is going to be placed between your shoulder blades, but no lower than where your shoulder blades end. If it's any lower than that, then it may hurt your spine. So just make sure that the blocks are quite high up between the shoulder blades. So we're going to slowly come on down to our forearms, if that's possible. If it's not, change the position of your legs, maybe just extend them out long in front of you. And then start to come on down and feel, where is this block, where is this block going to be? If it's between the shoulder blades and just where the shoulder blades end, the top part of the spine, then that's absolutely perfect. Make your way down, just find some comfort. It may take a little adjusting. And then grab that other block and place it where your the back of your head is going to be. So you want to rest down onto these 2 blocks. So it's a gentle opening of the spine, the chest, taking a very mini back bend here. This is quite a passive pose, so keep your breath nice and long and deep. And there's no need to contract the belly too much, but still try to lift up through the pelvic floor on every exhale. With the hands, you can keep them on your belly, you can keep them alongside you, or if you would like a shoulder opener at the same time and get deep into the shoulders, you can open them up into like a goddess shape. When you've done your last breath, very slowly release the arms if they're in cactus. Make your way onto your forearms, gently lifting the body and the neck last. And make your way back up into a seat. Come on forward onto your knees. Tuck the toes. And sit back onto the heels just for a moment, just releasing those feet. Take a couple of deep breaths here. And release. Come on down to your bum. Remove your props out the way. We've just got a couple of spinal twists to do before we end our practice. So once again, counteracting all those hip openers, we're going to wrap this right leg on top of the left once or twice. Send the hips over towards the right side and allow those knees to fall over towards the left. Open the arms out into a T. Look over towards these right fingertips and close your eyes. Just enjoy 3 deep breaths here. And gently bring your knees back to the center. Take the right leg off the leg and let's take the left on top of the right this time, wrapping once or twice. Sending the hips over towards the left side, knees drop towards the right. Arms out to a T, look towards these left fingertips and close your eyes. 3 deep breaths. And then next, exhale very gently. Bring your knees back up to the center. Release the legs. Hug the knees up towards your armpits. Draw them as closely to your armpits as possible, keeping the spine flat and your tailbone down. And we're going to come in for our final resting pose, Shavasana. Try not to miss it today. Try to join me and just allow everything that's happened in our practice to sink in and to take a moment for total silence. We're only going to take 1 minute together. So take your time getting there, extending through the legs, taking the feet just a little wider than hip distance. Arms a few inches away from the body. The palms facing towards the sky. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath you. Close your eyes. And allow yourself to become really heavy, giving into gravity. Relaxing down into the mat. Allow all thoughts to pass. Just 1 minute of total silence together. Your breath returns to its natural rhythm. Just relax. And then from here, you're more than welcome to stay in your Shavasana as long as you like. Or you can end your practice with me, gently wiggling the fingertips and the toes. Just getting that tingling sensation coming back into the body. And then rotate the wrists and the ankles in one direction. And then in the other. Inhale your arms up and over your head and stretch out through the body as if you're just waking up first thing in the morning. Then gently roll yourself over onto one side of the body. And take a deep inhale. A deep exhale. And with the eyes still closed, push yourself up into a comfortable seat of your choice. We're just going to take a moment here, a couple of deep breaths. Sit up tall through the spine, eyes closed. Draw the belly button towards the spine. 2 deep breaths. And then inhale the hands above the head, the palms touch, face faces to the sky. Exhale the palms to your heart center, bow your head. I thank you for joining me on the mat today, everybody. Namaste. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope this has left your legs and your hips feeling absolutely glorious, ready for the day or the evening. I'd love to know how you got on, so please let me know in the comments. Feel free to give it a thumbs up so you can save the video for easy access next time. Please do share with others, and if you would like to find me on other platforms, I'm on Facebook and Instagram, and my links are below in the description. And of course, join the community on YogaCandi.com. It's free to sign up, and you'll get a love letter every week from me, which is hopefully a nice thing. All right, everybody, have a wonderful day or evening. Until next time, namaste.